table, and there's a row. If you don't go this way. So you guys want to move up a little bit?
Sure we can. That's what I'm trying to. Hold on.
First, let's move this a little closer. Yeah.
Yeah, you can move that up. That's it. Good call, David.
Okay, be careful.
We gotta move this back.
Wow. Service is a full service.
Smile.
We have our own,
Be careful, they might pick you up and walk you out.
I understand. Been there, done that.
When did that happen to you?
What?
When did that happen?
Personally, right?
Years ago when I was in school.
I knew there was gonna be a story.
Years ago, I was in school with a friend. I didn't want it was a very good lecture, and I'm talking to two of the guys, we were young, 18, and picked me up, moved me out of the class. They didn't want to listen, like the lecture was over. You always have somebody in the class that's, and everybody's racing to go. That's when you're young. See, when you go older, you want to stay long. When you're young, it's natural.
Use the Chinese one?
What?
Yeah.
No. What's the Chinese one?
That was a good thing. Last week they came out. All the
Deep sea.
all the tech stuff went down because China came out with like a $3
Really?
He got into it recently. Was this some years ago?
morning, everybody. Okay, let's get back into it. So bitachon, sugya, we're dealing with some time now. So bitachon is a way that a person can live in this world, and I would say he can live l'mayla min hateva, l'mayla min hateva, because there's the way of living tadik, the natural way, the way of the world, the way the world reacts, the way the world lives, the way the world makes decisions. And it's fine. It's been going for some time now. But it comes with it can come with a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of disappointments, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry. And then you have to pay people to help you with that. And that becomes like, a microprocessor. Just like there's the food pyramid, there's a lot of types of, and there's the ecosystems, a lot of different systems. This is one of the types of systems. Right? You deal with life, you get upset, then you need someone to help you, then you get help, then you get back on your feet, then you get upset again, and then you get help again. It's like it's a type of cycle. But there's a way that we've been working on. It's a way to live l'mayla min hateva, that we can react to life, we can take in life, react to life, live life in a way that's above teva. What's above teva? Kadosh Baruch Hu, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu created teva. Kadosh Baruch Hu created teva, so he's not within the teva. He's l'mayla min hateva, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu gives us access to that. We can live with a Kadosh Baruch Hu l'mayla min hateva, and that's through the sugya bitachon, Amunah, ultimately, and bitachon. If we draw in HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our lives, mainly through our mind, our thinking, okay, then to the heart, of course, to the hands also, you have to do mitzvahs, ma'asim tovim. But if we can draw in HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our heads, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you can live with me. You can live with me in this world. You could see the world as I see the world, which is always for the best. Somehow, it's always tailor-made for the situation. It's never random. It's always the way that I want it to be, with no one ever able to stop me. It's with my all-knowing from the time of creation and before creation to this moment. Right? Every single moment of life is coming with this entire system of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and a person can live that way if he downloads the Yesodus of Bitachon, the 7 conditions, and then the conditions within the conditions, and everything we've been learning, and you could draw it into your life in all ways. And the sugya that we're dealing with right now is a sugya of relationships. I told you we're going to sit on it, and we're sitting on it because it's very, very, very important to understand how bitachon affects, in the most positive way, our relationships. It helps us build the proper relationships, it helps us stay away from the inappropriate relationships, and it helps us balance when things get difficult. And that's if you have a relationship first and foremost with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Bitachon is to trust. I trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I trust him the most out of anything else in the world. That means, and we went through the Madregas, remember a few weeks ago. There's the trust that you have with some guy that you meet on the street, the very low level trust. Then you have a trust of your friends, and you have a trust of your children, you have a trust of your spouse, you have a trust of your Rebbe. Trust of HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be, if built properly, the greatest possible trust. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't tell your secrets to anybody. Only if it's for your best. You have to trust that. So if a person builds that, then he has the deepest possible relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, because it's, at the end of the day, we understand, we are one with Kadosh Baruch Hu. Our Neshama is one with him. So if we can slowly buy into this, download, work on this again, so then you have the best relationship always with you, at your side, within you, in your mind, in your heart. That's what the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And everything else in life, whether it's a job, whether it's a social relationship, whether it's even religion, structured religion, all becomes what we will call like the third wheel. You have two people dating, and then they bring a third person. The third wheel is left out. He's the end. He's the, the external. Everything in life, if we can do this properly, will become the third wheel to my relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. First and foremost, I trust the Kadosh Baruch Hu at all times. Whatever it is, we have to get that into our system. It takes time. But if you have that, so you always have that. There's never a moment that you don't have that. That's up to you. But you could potentially have that. Okay, we're human beings, obviously, so we have to continue to work on it, and we'll make mistakes. But you, in the potential, you could be in that place of trust with the Kadosh Baruch Hu 24/7. It's possible. Okay, we're gonna grow. If you have that, then everything else in life is secondary and should be filtered through that trust and relationship. So we started 2 weeks ago. We missed last week. We have 10 different short, tiny scenarios. Right? They could be built, right? Each one of these could really be like 3 weeks of your life. But we're just getting right down to the Nakuda and how each one of these will totally be changed. And you'll be able to appropriately react and act within certain relationships, certain difficulties in relationships, if you have that bitachon downloaded. Of course, we're human beings. Nothing's perfect. We're trying to give a process, trying to give lamaisa examples to what could be if you've worked on bitachon. Meaning all of these scenarios are going to teach us how to lessen the intensity or totally eradicate certain reactions. So I'm going to chazer over just quickly. I'll read. Should we read the first 3 that we did? Nobody remembers. All right, we'll read it. If there's anything that somebody wants to stop on, so we'll stop. We'll try to speak it out.
What are you calling these? The 10 scenarios of what?
I don't know. We'll define it at the end of it. You'll give a definition. I don't know. This is how bitachon is involved in social relationships. How it's fused together. Okay. So trusting HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps a person remain calm in challenging situations. It's bitachon. Reducing reactive behaviors like anger, jealousy, resentment. Reducing, right? Hopefully to nothing, but reducing. Imagine a scenario where someone feels slighted by a friend. Someone said something, or when it comes to business, this happens all the time. I just spoke to somebody last night. He told me somebody slighted him in business, and he said, "I'm calm. I'm calm." He said, "I'm working on bitachon." I said, "Good." Instead of harboring bitterness, they trust that HaKadosh Baruch Hu manages all outcomes and relationships, enabling them to forgive and move on, forgive and forget without escalating the issue. Bitachon stands right there in a difficult situation, in an emotional situation, and turns down the intensity. I want to say something before we continue. When we have a relationship, and any interaction we have with anything really, and people, it happens with people the most, is that there's 2 sides. There's my side, my reaction, and my action, and then there's the other person's actions and reactions. 2 separate people. There's something that happens, an event that happens in between us, and it could be their words, whatever. Okay, something happens from the outside, and therefore we're 2 people reacting to a certain event. We have to remember, when we're discussing bitachon, we are discussing ourselves. What happens with that person is a second part. Maybe we don't engage with that at all, and maybe there is something to do in regards to that person. But first and foremost, how do I take in what's coming at me? How do I react? How do I download it? How does it flow through my system? How do I react? That's what we're discussing. Because a person, for example, a person slights you. He embarrasses you in public. Chas v'shalom. Big time embarrassment. Now, what happens with a lot of people, not everybody, right? Their eyes turn red. First of all, their face turns red. Then their eyes turn red. And then you could just lose yourself. You'll say, this guy embarrassed me in public? He deserves to get yelled at. He deserves that I pop his tires. He deserves that I, embarrass him at some, whatever. We have to be careful. Besides talking about, I'm not even talking about midos and halachas right now. Separate from that. When it comes to bitachon, it's how do we react first, in spite of all, and it's gonna lessen the intensity of the emotion that's flowing of that person deserves. We'll get there. before we get to what that person deserves, what do I deserve? How do I want to handle this? Do I want to be calm? Do I want to be upset? Is it kedai for me to lose my mind? It's not really kedai. Right? We don't think. When a person gets emotional, it hijacks the mind. People don't think. Whatever emotion it could be. It could also be not anger. It could be sadness, depression, anxiety. They cannot think anymore. Bitachon helps us think because it calms down the emotions, because it gives us that trust that says it's going to be okay. Everybody following me so far? Number 2. Trust, reliance on God. Bitachon in the Kadosh Baruch Hu cultivates patience. Sablanas. As one trusts that every person and interaction is part of Hashem's plan. And therefore, you could have patience. This perspective fosters greater tolerance for others' flaws or mistakes. A parent struggling with a rebellious child, or, right, you can insert anything here. You're dealing with another person. You're dealing with a kid who's not necessarily rebellious, but today, you have to expand your mind. A parent struggling with a rebellious child might, through his bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, focus on the long-term development of their child's soul rather than reacting harshly to momentary misbehavior. Same as if another person slights you. You could use this also. You can have patience. True? Simple. 3. Trusting in HaKadosh Baruch Hu alleviates the need for constant approval from others, as one's self-worth is anchored in their relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? We need self-confidence. Some people have it naturally. Some people do not. Some people need to try to buy their confidence, their self-esteem from other people's approval. If people think I'm cool, then I'm cool. If people think that I'm smart, then it's good. If people like my ideas, then I'm worth something. So therefore I have to wear clothing that I think that they'll like. I have to speak in a certain way that they'll think I'm smart. Everything is always with a calculation of other people. The people who live in this world don't really realize this. They don't really realize it. Because if they did, they'd feel dirty. They don't. This is just how they live. Big mistakes, big problems happen when a person does not get the approval rating that he would like. Then you'll see that's where you see the problems. When the emotions go off, whatever emotion is, anger, resentment, you're nervous, you're worried, stressed, all of these types of reactions, we're humans, so we're always going to go through a little bit. But when they get acute, when they get intense, you have to stop and say, whoa, where is this coming from? Even though you might say right away, it's that guy's fault, you tell them to stop. What's going on inside of me that's causing me to react in such a crazy way? We have to be, first and foremost, honest with ourselves. You'll never get out of it if you blame everybody else in life. There's some hole in our system that needs to be filled up. You only know what that hole is if you stop and you think about it. We're very quick to point fingers. It's that thing, it was this thing, it was the money thing, it was that guy's fault. 2 years ago, that guy did something to me. Then you'll never get to what is actually the root of the problem. Right? So bitachon, another facet of bitachon, if you trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you trust that when you get into that heavy emotion, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, hey, buddy, there's something here to work on, to be mashlim you, to help complete you, perfect you. This is your next level in your life. Take it seriously. We're always looking into levels of business. Some people are looking at levels of learning. It's not so common that people are looking on their levels of, their reactions and their midos. It's less common. The world would be a better place if we made it more common, if we made it like the cool thing to do. But most people are stuck in the money or the davening or then the learning. Midos is not focused on as much as it should be. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaks to us in that way. So with bitachon, when you get into this heavy emotion, you start to think, why am I so upset that guy said that thing to me? Why am I so upset? Was it really such a harsh comment? It is where you have to be honest with yourself. Somebody can help you, but you really have to do it to yourself. Why did I get so upset? And the answer may be because really my self-esteem, my self-confidence is based on that person's approval. And when he said that to me, it wasn't just an off comment. It destroyed my potential at feeling good about myself. Because we give other people the keys to our life. If you have bitachon in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, you give your keys to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And he's always, and if you trust, it's your own system. So if you trust him, then a person could say the nastiest thing to you, and it's possible a person could say, you know, Kadosh Baruch Hu, I guess this is a test for me that I need to build my skin, thicken my skin, work on my anava. Maybe I need to lower my need for the other people's approval. Again, if I have that relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, I have the ability to say that. But if I don't have that, and my relationship is only based on these people, and they're ones saying not nice things to me, I fall down on my face. This is happening in high schools. This is happening with kids all the time. Adults already, you have a few more, other relationships to build on. You have some other things that you could build yourself up on potentially. You maybe have a relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu to some degree. But for kids, they're getting destroyed. Because that's their whole life, is dependent on everybody else's, right? Which clique I'm in, but we have to teach our kids also. About bitachon with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, number 4. No, we didn't finish number 3. 3 was, again, sorry, I was Again, 3 was, in general, bitachon in the Kadosh Baruch Hu alleviates the need for the constant approval from others as one's self-worth is anchored in their relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, a specific example, one of billions, in a social setting, someone who trusts in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? Bitachon has a real relationship, and it can't just be words, it has to be real in your heart, won't feel devastated. Remember, feel. You won't feel devastated if left out of a gathering. All the guys at the company, all the guys in shul, they're all hacking around. They didn't invite you to come. First of all, most times it's Narishkeit. You can go walk over there and they'd be happy to have you. But sometimes, if you need their approval, you're waiting for them to call you over. But they're not calling you over because they're just talking. Not because they don't like you. But if you have that need for their approval, you're thinking the worst. No one's ever gone through this before? Right? Oh my gosh, they must not like me. Oh my gosh, what's going to be? I'm going to have to go find somebody else to hang out with. This happens. You're not plotted from this because you're 30, 40, 50. Instead, they see this part of Hashem's plan, maintaining healthy relationships without desperation or insecurity. These are huge words. Insecurity is the deepest of the deep. It happens to be insecurity. The word has, it's in insecurity means you don't have security, right? You don't have that self-esteem. So in Hebrew, it would be bitachon. You don't have bitachon. Insecurity. Bitachon. So to be. Insecurity is one of the deepest, darkest roots of all of the issues. Insecurity is the deeper nekuda within gaiva. So if you really want to dig deep, you want to go to the source of it all, it's in insecurity. It's really a lack of bitachon. It's really a lack of your own bitachon. But a person sometimes needs help with that. So you can go to a Kadosh Baruch Hu for that. If you really build that relationship. The problem, one of the biggest problems is when a person thinks, I'm not even worthy for Kadosh Baruch Hu to have a relationship with me. Now you're in big trouble. Now you need chizuk from like a Rebbe to help you even believe that it's pot. But this is what we need. So people, right? It circles around. But if a person would at least try to be a little bit inward, cognizant, thinking of his own thoughts, thinking of where his feelings are coming from, then we have a better chance. Number 4, believing a Kadosh Baruch Hu provides for all needs encourages generosity. We discussed this in the Sefer. As a person does not feel fear, scarcity, or competition. Now here, we're not discussing the monetary aspect of it, necessarily. A business owner may feel secure in a Kadosh Baruch Hu's provision to share resources or opportunities with others. We discussed this all the way back with the alchemist. Right? He has to hide every time he has his ingredients. He has to always hide what he buys. He can't let anybody know what's going on because, listen, he's turning pennies into gold. And if anybody finds out, they're going to steal his business, and the value is going to go down. But remember the Baal Bitachon, Chavos Rose taught us this early on. He's not scared. That doesn't mean go tell everybody your secrets. But it means if someone asks or if someone's pulling it out of you, you don't have to lose your mind that you think that you're going to lose your whole business because this other guy found out something. Building trust and goodwill in their professional and social circles. Again, we have to be careful though. We still have to do a shtadlus. It doesn't mean you trust every single person. Well, it must be HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to trust him because we have the same birthday. And we kind of look alike a little bit. We also went to the same college. You have to be very careful with these things, right? It's when you have a lot of external connections with people or things, sometimes we have this Indian that we want to then, it's divine providence. It really, really may not be. Stick with the Kadosh Baruch Hu and see if it makes sense before you start, jumping in with this guy. Yeah, listen, buddy, we have the same birthday, so why don't you just give me $1 million for the investment? We have the same birthday. We went to the same college. We're practically the same. So just give me the $1 million and I'll. Hishtadlus, right? Don't be a fool. Okay, weiter. General. Trusting in the Kadosh Baruch Hu allows a person to act with integrity as they do not fear short-term losses.
Is that number 4?
That was 4. This is 5.
Oh, 4. We guessed 4.
This is 4. Don't worry. At the end, I'm going to give you the sheet. I just want to. I already got the sheet. I'm not hiding it.
So I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
4 is. Give me just the 1.
4 was the promotion of generosity and kindness. 5 is fostering honesty and integrity. Which again, trusting in Kadosh Baruch Hu allows a person to act with integrity, as they do not fear short-term losses. In a dispute over a shared resource, such as a parking spot, you see this. Oof, you see some nasty things go down in some of these parking lots over here. The honking. Someone who relies on the Kadosh Baruch Hu might willingly yield, trusting that they won't lose out by choosing peace over conflict. You're in a rush a little bit. And, sometimes you cut corners. That person's going around. You know what they're thinking. You, get in over there. And they come around. Really, they should have had it. But you're in a rush. So they start honking you, and they look even upset. And you're like, oh, I was here first. What do you mean? I gotta go. You're, lipping it. People yell in the car, but no one can hear it. They can't even hear you. I love that. You're always yelling at the guy next to you. They can't hear you. So, the person with bitachon, again, the root emotion, the byproduct, root of emotion of bitachon is come. So it could be that you had the spot first, and therefore you could take it. It could be that you didn't, and therefore calmly, even though you have a meeting in 2 minutes, so be it. I'll find another spot. And it could be that it will allow you, even if you had it rightfully so, but that person's so upset and they're honking like crazy, you'll be like, all right, take it. Even though you want to spite them, right? I'm going to give it to you. You have no midas. I'm not giving it to you. But remember, with bitachon, there's 2 separate events going on. There's my reaction, my bettering my own life, and then there's that person. Be very careful. We don't need to be the ones to teach other people midos. Especially, you're not going to teach them midos when they don't know you and they don't care about you. So if you have this situation, maybe a parking spot, whatever it is, it happens all the time. And it could be you even hold that you're right, which sometimes thinking you're right is not always right, but imagine you think you're right. And that person's really angry. So often we have this thing, okay, fine, I'm not going to give in. Because I'm going to teach him a lesson. But does that make you a better person? Are you really teaching him a lesson? Is he really going to learn from this angry person? You think that because there's 1 second of action, you're going to change his life forever? No. Never happens.
Wait.
L'chaim.
You may teach him a lesson by the way you react. That may teach that lesson, yes.
You're saying reacting properly, nicely.
Right. In other words,
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a win-win because then when you act with a calm demeanor, first of all, you win because you're calm. How many times are you right? The other person was angry. You were right. But they were so upset, and then you're mulling about it for like hours. Like, I can't believe they're so upset. Or you're bothered because you know you really could have given in. This happens all the time. It doesn't matter who's with, your kids, your this, or that. Sometimes just, if you have bitachon, you trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, what are you going to lose out? So you give in. Anova is a bad thing. Bittel's a bad thing. Isn't it what we work on all the time? No. I can't be mavaltal to that guy. When did Bittel have like an amount? You have to be careful. Split the situation. It has nothing to do with the other person. Bitachon is about me and my relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu and building my best self. My best self is, so give in, move on, who cares? You'll feel good about it. You feel stronger, not weaker. Sometimes the strong move makes you feel weaker, and sometimes the weak move makes you feel stronger. Because it's not really weak, it's really strength. Because who's Ezo Gibor? Hakovish is Yitzro. My Yetzer Hara is saying, take what's rightfully yours. My Nefesh Elokis, my bitachon self, my higher self says, you know what? It's okay, I don't have to take it this time. So, you're so weak? Yetzer Hara says, no, I'm actually strong because I'm controlling my Yetzer Hara. I'm holding back. That's real strength. That's building muscles, spiritual muscles. If you have bitachon, listen, you could work on this with Midas. We discussed this 2 weeks ago. You can work on this, all these young through the world of Midas, and you have to work on Savlanas, and you have to work on Gaivan, you have to work on Kapdonis, and you can work on each Midah, and you could. But this is like a cheat sheet. If you have bitachon, you can bring it into every single Midah. Every single one, because that's bringing a Kadosh Baruch Hu. You're trusting in a Kadosh Baruch Hu into every situation, doesn't matter what the Midah is. It is also good to learn in details. Yeah, follow? Yeah?
Tell my kids, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I don't like it.
No, it's called dead right in the intersection.
It's another way of saying it. but that's what it is. Yeah, you might sometimes be right, but
away.
you're wrong. Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay, number 6.
That's why you have the interplay between Danlikas Rus and Mars Eye. So if everybody's supposed, let's say I'm sitting in McDonald's, everybody's supposed to be Danlikas Rus. Why do I have to care about Mars Eye? Because Mars Eye is my ability and Danlikas Rus is
Exactly. 100%. 100%. You have to do you. You have to be your best self.
Straight line.
Number 6.
No, not the you. Yeah, down the consequence.
Yeah, I once asked. I don't know if it was this year. I once, a long time ago, asked this question. That was the answer. Right? Did everybody hear what he said? If there's a chiyuv, and if you're a Bresler, it's the mamish the biggest. Danakav schus, azamra. You have to believe in everybody's nekuda tova. You have to believe everybody's doing. Doesn't mean they're doing the right thing, but you have to turn an eye. Danakav schus, judge them favorably. That also is also not even learned exactly properly. Whatever. You judge everybody favorably. So therefore, if I have to use the bathroom or I have to go get a drink or something, and there's a McDonald's over there, I'm not getting the halachic situation over here. But in your head, you're thinking, I don't know, should I go in? There's Maris Ayin, I'm not sure. Well, you know what? Everybody has to judge me in the kafskos. That's a chiv that they all have. So therefore, I could go in confidently into McDonald's or whatever it is. Again, I'm not speaking halachically. This is a shayla to the person's head. Because they have an obligation to judge me down the kafskos. Or any situation that might look funny. They have to judge me the kafskos. Why do I have to bow down to the way they're thinking? Right? We just said, I don't have to care about their approval rating. And the answer is, because Maris Ayin is your chiv to stay away from. How other people look at you, that's their obligation, how they look at you. You have to do you. You have to do what's obligated on you. And if it is, I'm not saying halachically, I'm not getting involved, but if you hope that it's considered Maris Ayin to go into that McDonald's, you can't rely on everybody's down the kafsos. You have to be your best self and do what you need to do. You're not having Mr. Parkov.
I'm not a holy roller. Maybe
you are.
What?
Nothing? Yeah? Carry on.
I'm trying to think about the statement about going into McDonald's.
That was just an example.
Yeah, I don't want to get into like.
That's a very common.
example.
Excuse me. That's a very common example we're all faced with a lot of times. I would probably say, you know what, you're better off pulling over to the side of the road, do what you have to do and keep moving on, rather than pull into a McDonald's parking lot.
Thank you.
That's, in my opinion.
Happens to be, there are halachas here. It could be it's totally mutter 100%. Go ask your local Orthodox rabbi. It could be it's 100% mutter, and you don't have to care about.
It's like
Am I
the
saying
joke
something?
with the rabbi. He goes to a crazy place in the mountains to get away from the congregation. They catch him in a coffee shop there, a little restaurant. And some of the congregants found the same place. They're walking by and they see in the window he has a cup of coffee with a big pig with an apple in the mouth. So, on the table, and they're saying, "Oh my God, what did our rabbi become?" They walk in. They said, "Rabbi, what's with this thing?" He says, "I don't know. I ordered an apple." This is how they say it.
Thank you for that. Number 6.
All right, I'm not giving up my daytime job.
Yeah, trying. Okay, trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu reminds individuals. Listen to this is deep. Trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu reminds individuals that everyone is created b'tselem Elokim. Forget about this sometimes. Promoting respect and empathy. Every Jew, even every person, every creation, really, in a certain way, is b'tselem Elokim. It's different levels. But b'tselem Elokim is a big thing. Not that guy. Not that guy. Everybody else is b'tselem Elokim. Not that guy, because he didn't pay me on time. He must not be b'tselem Elokim. A person who trusts in a Kadosh Baruch Hu might look past another's abrasive behavior, viewing it as their unique spiritual struggle. You imagine? Somebody could be being abrasive towards you, and you have the bitachon, the trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, to give yourself the mindfulness to say, you know what? I'm sorry that you have to struggle with that anger.
Don't say it to him.
Yeah, no, it's not for you to say to him. If depends on your level of bitachon. If you have a high level of bitachon, you don't need to say it. If you have a lower level of bitachon, you're going to say it. But can you imagine seeing with those eyes? Those are eyes of Kadosh Baruch Hu. You're seeing this person angry, upset, whatever it is, and it's affecting you. And you're able to have the mind to say, to think, to feel, wow, chaval that he has that struggle. Baruch Hashem, I don't have that struggle. Do you imagine? You're living l'mayla min hateva. You're godly, living in this world. You didn't have to do any mysticism. You're not sitting in Thailand. You don't have to do incantations of Yud Kei Vav Keis. You just push it, don't react in the way that Teva would. Masterful. A person who trusts in God might look past another's abrasive behavior, viewing it as their unique spiritual struggle, and respond with compassion instead of judgment. Take that in for a minute. How does a Kadosh Baruch Hu deal with this world? This world, in a certain way, we're going to speak a little harsh, spits in his face. Kadosh Baruch Hu says he's the God of the world. He created everything. He gives us everything every single moment. And when we don't follow his way, we're spitting in his face. How often does he act in judgment? How often does he act with compassion? This is like Tomer Devorah 101 over here. Kadosh Baruch Hu acts with compassion. Even his judgment is really compassion. That's part of trust. But we are given the responsibility to act godly. We all know that. We've all learned that. We do medama our midos to Kadosh Baruch Hu's midos. We just forget because it's in the Medrash. It says Kadosh Baruch Hu is mevakar choles, you should be mevakar chola. Kadosh Baruch Hu has compassion. Grace. So you should have grace. It's very easy when you don't bring it down lamaisa. Okay, I'll be graceful to those who I like. Sure, no problem. I'll be compassionate to my children, to the people I like. Sure. Kadosh Baruch Hu is only compassionate to the people he likes. Kadosh Baruch Hu loves everybody. You understand? This is serious business.
It's hard to see often. Often it's hard to see this.
Yeah, this is like.
Look at the three hostages that just came out. So Dwachan Sahat Tzeflatin. It's hard. I'm not denying. I'm not arguing what I say. It's hard. It's a struggle to see that sometimes.
1 second. I don't even want to get into this right now, but that's not exactly what we're talking about over here. You have to define. I don't want to do it now. You have to define, it's important, what are you struggling with and who is it on the other side that you're struggling? You're struggling
Okay,
to...
so now I went off of that
Okay.
because I was simply looking at something that happened in Klal Yisrael, and it's hard to watch.
Okay, but it's important. It is hard to watch, and it is a Rahmanis, and there is sense. It's if you want, each person on their own, take that feeling, that thought feeling, and now break it down. What's hard about it? Besides superficially, these are people who were in captivity for over a year. We can't imagine. And okay, I don't even want to go into this more. It's a little much right now. Is it on that?
It's right on what you just said.
Oh boy. Yeah.
No, not on that. On that.
Oh yeah. Carry on. Change the timing.
I want to take it up a notch. Meaning, respond with compassion.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy got angry. Compassion.
Yeah.
Taking it up a notch would be to say, okay, Hashem is making me experience this guy's anger or abrasiveness right now. I'm usually very calm, cool, and collected. But where in my life could I integrate some abrasiveness? Where can I actually use that abrasiveness appropriately in my life and take that from him and use it? Because there's a reason why Hashem sent me his abrasiveness right now at this moment.
Not for now.
Not good, just...
That's...
No, but I can use it, meaning...
Yeah, but you can't even think like that until you fully downloaded this.
What's this?
The bitachon and the calm and responding compassion. Before you start saying, how can I take the tools of the samech mem and use it on other people?
Not on other people.
No.
No.
Where
It's a tool.
where in my personality, where in my life,
Yeah, okay.
do I need to
This
be
is
a little
Baal
bit more abrasive?
This is about... Yeah, this is high level. And this is avodas within avodas. I get nervous with such high levels. Even this is high levels already, but let's do one more. And I think it's time after this. This is real life. This is life. I mean, I'll give you the sheets if you want. I mean, I can give it to you today if you want, or I can give it to you next week. But to think about these and also expand the examples. Take it with you. Instead of, for a long time we had the 7 conditions. Those who were really working on it and had it by their desk, they were thinking about it. The 7 conditions of trusting in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It would also be important to take a sheet like this and have this. And if we do experience a difficult situation with somebody, however we reacted, whether we were totally calm or totally upset, let's try to find in which example here did it fit into this situation and see how we could have done it better. That's how learning goes. You take a test, you study for the test, you fail the test, okay, you tried, fix it up, work on it again, and take it again. Right? The person where the teacher says, hey, you got a 40, but if you want and you study, I'll give you the retest. Kid's like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm done with this. So he's a failure because he's chosen failure. Mistakes, everybody makes. Everybody's human. But, right? Mistakes can be worked on. Shiva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam. Failures where you don't want to work. So it would be Kedai, I think. To have a sheet like this, we could even come up with more Yisaitistic examples. This will help us really concretize and draw in the bitachon into these relationships and really, really help us. Life is much better calm. We all know that. But we just think that it comes from money or it comes from actual, quiet, which never happens. All the things that really we don't control at all. This we can control. Do you want to say something though? Or?
To give a brief myself, like what you were saying before.
Yeah.
My friend's son is 5 or 6, and he was getting bullied a little bit. So he tells the bully, he's like, I know you're doing this because you're really sad. And so the bully didn't know how to react, but he's like, he was right. The 5 or 6-year-old was right. You wouldn't be doing this unless you had,
This is something that they've come out. The bullies are usually, they're usually the saddest people, or they have the lowest self-confidence. So they have to overdo it. But if people would have emotional awareness, and with bitachon, it helps. It helps fast this. Okay, I think we'll pause here and we'll continue next week.
How do we get you'll email or you'll make copies?
I can make copies right now if you want. We still have 7, 8, 9, 10. But I think this is very important to work through this. What?
We have item 7, 8, 9,
And 10.
and 10. Okay, so that's the next one.
You want the sheet? I'll give it to you now.
Yeah,
in the
I
line.
make copy.
Just threw in this
If you
little
want to
piece.
email,
I wanted to see if it could
Oh, I'll send it to you.
the whole idea. Based upon.
Remember that
Because I've been
expression?
back.
What?
This is why
One
I've been
year
scripted.
second line is wrong.
I've been
No,
back
no,
feeding.
Ed, I'd be interested.
Right, right,
I had
right.
Yeah.
right away,
Right.
so I run over.
Right.
The back feeding.
So where?
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
it is.
So-
You have
You know
a
that, or
sign
you
in.
heard
No,
of it?
I
I don't
paid
know how
for
I
it.
came
No,
up.
I thought it was free.
No, it takes $20.
Maybe
You
somebody.
take $3.
No,
You have the right of way.
Right,
I don't know.
yeah.
Okay, so you're dead.
Right. Right.
There's a free version, but you can't do
That's
it.
I try to teach that to my kids sometimes, but it takes time.
It's very limited, and it doesn't.
So this is an app.
Yeah, I paid for the chance to
$20
get
a month. And learns about you and what you like.
Right,
So-
yeah. I've been back feeding it, like, everything, like, it looks pretty good. This is all I put in. I said, you have to do you.
Personal
2 pounds of
responsibility.
down the cups, and I wrote it in English.
Right.
Thank you. Has everything?
Our obligation
Yeah.
to anything.
Yeah, great job. Yeah.
Judging others. Their obligation.
And so it knows it.
Oh.
Look at and it nuances. Like, look how it wrote it up. It wrote it better than I did.
Right.
Right?
It's unbelievable. In other words,
Right.
we must be
And you
careful
know what,
not
as
to
you get
use
older,
this.
between
Others must also train themselves.
Right,
to
you stop it.
the Torah and the thing.
They weren't listening, right?
And a young group of people took over. That's when I stopped being happy.